Hello, gorgeous souls. Let's see if my Wi-Fi stays strong. Happy New Year! New year, new haircut. I decided to go short for a little bit. I'm gonna take a few days to get used to it, but so far, really feeling lighter and more free. So we're entering into a new calendar year, which actually doesn't mean a whole lot to me, because I don't generally do those, New Year's resolutions and whatnot. I think that my goal setting is an ongoing, month to month, moment to moment, day to day kind of pursuit. So I don't usually set resolutions. I also don't like to set myself up for like a global expectation of something I'm going to get accomplished in a year's time, or radically change behavior, because in my experience, my behavior changes most effectively when I take small steps towards those changes. So what I do love to do, however, at the turn of the year is a newer practice where I reflect back on my accomplishments and the things that I feel good about from the previous year. So that's what I'm going to do right now, and join me in that. In fact, I really encourage everybody to do this, because it's a really beautiful way to honor who you are, who you have been over this past calendar year. And I think we forget how much we do actually accomplish and create and nurture and nourish and all of that in the span of a year. So I'm not going to cover absolutely everything, because that would take forever. But I'm going to hit the highlights, and I want to share it. And then I also want to hear from you. What are you excited to report that you've accomplished in this last year? So this is my 2018 year in review. One thing that I rediscovered this year was the joy of juicing, like juicing vegetables and fruits. So I have several people in my life who I'm very close with who are dealing with cancer as a major health issue right now. And in my desire to help them and also understand better what some of the causes of cancer are, and what we can do to support the physical body in healing cancer, I started diving into some really good information about using nutrition as the body's support to heal cancer. And one body of work that I really liked was this guy named Chris Wark, who has a book out called Chris Beat Cancer. He also has a video series that I've watched, and in the series he talks a lot about using nutrition as a support for the body. So I got back into juicing because he talks a lot about juicing and the different types of juices that he makes. And when I turned, I think it was like 41 or 42, I got a juicer for my birthday from my family members. Juicers a lot of them are very expensive, especially the good ones, the ones that are really effective and remove the most amount of nutrients from your fruits and vegetables. So it's not like a small gift. They're like a few $100s for the high quality ones, sometimes more. So I got this birthday gift of a juicer, and I used it for like a couple years, and then I put it away for a while, and then I lent it out to a family member. And then after learning more about how to support the body with excellent nutrition, I got re-inspired to start juicing again. So I juice every couple days, usually, and I fill a huge jug in my fridge. I keep it in my fridge of juice. Usually I make carrot, apple, ginger, beet, or I'll throw some kale in there, or throw some other really good, healthy, nutritious stuff in there, and drink my way to health. And I also have been known to juice for friends. So if you are a local friend of mine and you would like a fresh juice, let me know, because I have done this for more than one person on more than one occasion. It's a way to show love. I think it's the juices, the recipes that I use are really delicious, and there's so much great nutrition in juicing. Another thing that I that I did this year was I took an amazing online class on menstrual cycle awareness. Who knew, right? Like, I don't even know what to say exactly about that that could be succinct, except that what I didn't know about my own cycle that I now know allows me to have a greater wisdom in how to work with my body and with its own internal energetics from day to day and month to month and cycle to cycle. So that was, and it goes with a book that's called Wild Power. And that was the title of the online course that I took. I highly recommend it for you women out there who are in your cycles, still getting your cycles, and or just want to learn more about how amazing this inner season, the change of seasons, is for us on the inside of our bodies. So there's so much to say on that. I can't even touch on all of it. So I took the Wild Power class. I also had a really amazing experience. I said yes. So this year I said yes to a lot of things. One of the things that I said yes to was attending the Pachamama Alliance Global Gathering, which was a gathering in May in Petaluma, California. And I had no idea what it really was about. It's an organization that I love. You've heard me talk about it before. They do amazing things. They're basically saving the planet through saving the Amazon rainforest and the sacred headwaters of the Amazon. Hey, Jess. And so I learned that they were having this global gathering. I didn't know what it was about, but I knew I had to be there. You know when you just know that you have to be somewhere? Oh, thanks, Jessica. You like my hair? I just got it cut today. I'm getting used to it, but yeah, it does. It feels good. It feels good to have some lightness here. And so I just said, well, I'm going to go to the global gathering. I don't know what it is. I don't know who's going to be there. I don't know what it's about. But it turned out that a good friend came with me. And Lola, Happy New Year. Love your hair as well. Thank you for the book recommendation. We'll look at it. Yes. I swear, if I could buy copies of this book and just distribute them widely, I totally would. It's such a game changer, Lola. I think you're going to love it. I'll post maybe a link to the name if I can remember. All of my commitments these days are if I can remember, because I feel stretched and pulled in 100,000 directions. My kids are still home for the holidays, and I'm doing a video. I have a very close family member who's in the hospital with a brain injury. I have one of my best friends here is towards the end of her life with brain cancer. I have another dear friend whose son has brain cancer. It's endless. I feel just stretched and pulled and everything. So if I can remember, I'll put the link to the book in there. Back to the global gathering. So the Pachamama Alliance gathered the most exquisite group of leaders, authors, teachers, scientists that really have done amazing work in showing some of the things that we can do to fix this climate change, to support the earth in rebalancing herself. And just beautiful. It was such a gathering of incredible humanity. Hey, Nikki, I'm talking about the global gathering in Petaluma, which, you like my hair too? Thank you. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, Lola. You're awesome. Yes, thank you, Nikki. I just got it cut today. You like it? So, anyways, this global gathering from the Pachamama Alliance was a life changer for me for so many reasons. One is I had an opportunity to sit in the same room with these global leaders who understand the earth and climate change and what we need to do as humanity to step up and take responsibility and shift the trajectory that we've created right now with all of our past behaviors. So it was incredibly inspiring, and then I really felt like I was with my tribe. And I can't say how important it is to find your tribe. And they're everywhere. They're scattered all over the place. But what I'm so excited about is I keep finding more tribal members. And so Nikki is one who I just added to my tribe. And then another dear soul sister who's on here too, Stacy, more of my tribe. And just, I felt like I was in the company of such like-minded, like-hearted, loving souls. And the fact that I hug trees, kiss trees, cry when a tree is destroyed, I wasn't alone. I was with everybody else who feels that deeply for the earth and all of her creatures. So this is what we need to do. We need to find our tribe so that we do not feel so alone, because the truth is we're not alone and we can do far more together. We must gather and do far more together. And that gathering, we went on meditative hikes in the morning, and then we went out to this beautiful orchard, basically, with trees everywhere, and we did holy ceremony there, and we just connected with the earth in such profound ways. Nikki wrote #Team Tribe. Hi, Stacy Morgan. Yes, totally. So that, saying yes to that experience, even though I didn't know very much about what to expect, was a life changer for me. It just in terms of friendships that I made and what I learned. And I developed some pretty serious crushes, yes, crushes, on some of these speakers that came. Like, I don't mind mentioning them by name. Charles Eisenstein, I totally have a crush on that man. He is such an incredible writer. He's such a powerful speaker. He's delightful. His energy is so fantastic. And then there was basically everybody there. I'm not even going to go through by name, but basically every speaker there I have a crush on some level, because of how deeply they love the planet as I do, and how they've committed their life's work to supporting our beautiful planet. So I'm just going to follow that. They're also in line with that. When I had the opportunity to meet hear these speakers in person, hey Marianne, I decided I really wanted to share. Okay, so one of the things that I struggle with sometimes is there are so many fantastic people out there doing amazing work, and it's really hard to figure out how to meet them unless you go to one of their talks, right? Unless you travel and go to a symposium that they're doing, or a convention where they're speaking. But even then, you're in the presence of like usually hundreds of other people. So it's very hard to interface with them and to meet them. So this summer, I picked a small handful of people whose work touches me very, very deeply. And I said, I'm just going to reach out. I'm going to email them. I'm going to thank them for the work that they do in the world. And I'm going to offer, as a gesture of generosity, love, and appreciation, to share my work with them, to just do a session for them. It's the only way I can think of to make that connection. And it feels really good. It's not just that it's the only way I can think of it. It feels really good to share my work with others, because if it resonates, then it can be a very powerful thing. Stacy says, love your hair, love your face, love you. Thanks. Thank you, girl. I love your hair and face too, and you. So anyhow, I reached out to one of these people was Claire Dubois. She's the founder of Tree Sisters, and I just said, let me channel for you. You're a shiro of mine, and I want to share my work with you. Another person I reached out to was Charles Eisenstein, just to thank him for his incredible books and his incredible work and his teachings, and did a session for him. And then another one that I reached out to was Jill Bolte Taylor, who is the woman that I based some of my TED Talk from. She's the one who wrote the book called My Stroke of Insight. She had a stroke at the age of 37, and she wrote this entire book about her brain within the stroke and her experience of it. And I just love this woman so much. And I thought, wouldn't it be amazing to have a conversation with her and to be able to share my work with her? So there are a number of people that I did reach out to, but those just highlight just a few of them. And they all said yes. They all said, hell yes, of course we'd like to have a session. That sounds awesome. We don't know what you do or what you're all about, but yeah, let's do it. So we had these beautiful, amazing experiences of just showing up soul to soul and me channeling and them asking whatever questions they had and having such a beautiful connection. And it felt, preach, right, Marianne? Preach it, sister. It felt so good. So I want you to use that as inspiration to go for it. There's someone you want to meet. There's someone whose work means a whole lot to you. There's someone you want to thank. Do it. Show up to it. Share that. Express yourself. Whatever. It means a lot. It means a lot. It has effects that I don't even know about yet. Maybe something that I channeled for them is impacting them on a long-term basis. Maybe just hearing me receiving the message that I emailed them saying, I am so appreciative of what you're doing in the world and thank you for your work. Maybe that came at a point in time where they really needed that kind of encouragement, because we all go through tough stuff and we all go through self-doubt. This is a human experience, and so say what it is that you need or want to say and reach out to those that inspire you and let them know. While I was in Petaluma at the Global Gathering, my family adopted a third dog. Now, this was with my permission, but I hadn't met her. And so that's a big deal because my family loves animals, and I consider it a responsibility of us as humans to do something about the homeless animal population. We are the ones that created this problem. We are the ones that know how to solve this problem. And so adopting a third dog really just touched my heart in a very deep way. One, because I love animals so much. Two, because it kind of is, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's not synchronistic. Balanced. I have 3 kids. Now I have 3 dogs, a dog for each kid. What's the word I'm looking for? Doesn't matter. Anyway, and she was in need of a home, obviously. This was a homeless dog that was rescued by a local animal rescue. She was pregnant on the streets in Florida, and they brought her in. She had her litter of puppies. When they weaned the puppies, and Mama needed a home. And so guess what we named her? We named her Pachamama. So we call her Pacha for short. Pacha means the earth, all beings, all things for all time in Quechua. And she's amazing, and we are learning so much because there's all sorts of dynamics that dogs reflect from their humans, and we are really attuning ourselves to understand our own dynamics through watching how the dogs interact with each other. Something else, this was a big one, guys. This was a big one. My TEDx talk. Holy moly. So maybe like 2 years ago, somebody mentioned to me that this job that I was interested in, or this position that I wanted to have at a women's camp, that most of their speakers are ones who have either published a book or have given a TED talk or a TEDx talk. And at that point I'd already published my book, but I heard in my mind like, oh, a TEDx talk. Wow, I will never do that. That is so scary. I just wouldn't even do that. This was my thinking 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And then something in my head said, go research it. Go find out how people do a TEDx talk. And so I started doing some investigation and Googling and finding out that TEDx Talks are just basically community-based, community-organized TED Talks that are curated by trained curators who are trained by TED, that organization. And they're called TEDx because they're community-based and they have different themes. And so I just started to dig in a little bit more, and then I started to be able to see myself actually as a speaker in this on the stage. And once I can envision myself doing something, even though it made my heart jump out of my chest, and I thought, that is crazy. Once I can see it, it's like, well, here we go. I'm just gonna do it. And so the process of creating my talk and getting it to the point where it was acceptable to the curator of the local a school that was hosting the TEDx event was enormous. It was literally some weeks and weeks and weeks of revisions and revisions and feedback and more revisions, and I felt the whole gamut of emotions. I felt like, am I ever going to get there? Do I have anything of value to share or offer? I felt like I should hide the fact that I channel from the talk, because I felt like it's, TEDx is, a lot of the stuff is mainstream in that it's you want it to be, I wanted it to be acceptable to the mainstream, since it's such a large platform, and once you do a talk like that, it is kind of in foreverness out there on the internet. And I didn't really feel like talking, I didn't know how to talk about my channeling on a big platform like that. Well, luckily, as the universe would have it, as I was manifesting this experience, the curator of that particular talk had a chance. I did a session for her, and after her session she said to me, okay, now that I know what you do, you are absolutely finding a way to put that into your talk. That belongs in there, and so your next draft has to contain it in some way. I'm not going to tell you how, but what you just did, that's what you're going to be talking about as well. And so I did. I found a way through many more revisions to talk about what I do professionally now, and how my work with my mother as a daughter and a speech pathologist has influenced, and how influenced what I do now, and my trust in myself and my trust in connecting to spirit. And there we go. I think that was one of the hardest things I've ever done, if not the. It was, and for those who want to hear a little bit more about the actual talk and all the funny things that happen, go to my YouTube channel, and I'm revealing all of it to you there. It was hilarious and totally life-changing. And that experience really taught me that I can do anything. For me, that was my anything. If I can get up on a stage, knowing that this is going to be recorded for all time, on such a large platform with so many other speakers that I just appreciate and look up to and value, to have a place there, to create a place there for myself, whoa, mind-blowing. So there's that, and that happened this year. Then I also said yes to I also said yes to a lot of travel. So one thing that I've been feeling more strongly is I need to travel. I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to get on an airplane, you hear it up there, and just go places, find new communities, share my work with other areas. And I wasn't quite sure how to affect that. The first thought I had was, well, I have to maybe go to like one of those bigger venues like the Kripalu Center or Esalen or something like that. But it takes a while to be selected to be a speaker in those bigger venues. And so while I applied to a couple of them, I didn't want to just wait until they called me and said, yeah, we're ready for you. They have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of wonderful speakers that apply all the time. So I said to the universe, well then let me see who already within my circles appreciate the work that I do and would like to share it with their circles. And I started asking clients, or actually around that time clients started asking me, do you ever travel? Would you ever come here? If I gather a group of my closest friends, would you come and channel for us? And I started saying yes to that, and I started creating more opportunities for me to get out. And so just among some of the places that I've gone to, Seattle numerous times, Bellingham, Washington, which was a new location for me this past just a few months ago, November. So I got to go in the fall, and I got to see the change of leaves, which we don't have here in Florida, and be in this wonderful new yoga studio space with a great new community. San Francisco I've been back to a few times now. San Rafael I recently went to, thanks to Nikki, who invited me and found a space for me. And then in a couple weeks, I'm going to head to Houston and to Austin. I used to live in Houston, but I've never been to Austin, and I just made some connections there and said, hey, I'm going to be there. Can we can I offer my work? And people are really generous and kind and excited to host me. Shh, sorry. And then I'm also going to be heading to North Carolina, and I went to Reno thanks to Stacy Morgan, who hosted a group for me at her house as well. Take him inside, okay? And I'm also going to be heading to, well, lots of places. I'm going to be heading to lots of places. I'm just letting that reveal itself over time. But that's very exciting for me because I realized a few things. One, I like to travel, and I used to think that I didn't like to travel. Why? Well, mostly because I was dragging 3 children around with me through airports and airplanes and public bathrooms and rented cars, and that's not fun. That's not fun at all. But when I travel by myself, wings, I feel so free. I feel I can eat what I want when I want. I can find the best vegetarian restaurants. I can just meet some incredibly exquisite, wonderful new people. It's so fun. It's so high vibe, and I get so pumped up by it. So what else? Oh, so the thread that goes with the traveling thing is I finally went and got my TSA pre-check done, which, you know, it's kind of annoying. You have to apply for this thing online, then you have to show up for an interview. It's not like an interview, it's just, are you who you say you are, sign here on the dotted line, but you got to go to the DMV, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, and I was putting it off and putting it off, but with more travel, I kind of want to scoot right through those lines. And what helped me decide was that the last time I went to Seattle, my daughter and I got caught not having TSA pre-check, and people were missing their flights because the security lines were so long and there was nothing they could do about it. So I said, hell to that, I'm going to get pre-check, and I did. And I also had my daughter's bat mitzvah, which is kind of a big deal. It takes a lot of preparation, planning, organizing, food serving, details, etc. And that was amazing. So that's a big accomplishment. That was a beautiful experience. I went to New York City at the invitation of a dear, lovely client who is, he's an artist. He's actually a puppeteer, a world-renowned puppeteer. And he invited me. He said, I would like to share my work with you. And so I'm in New York City doing a show, and it runs for this long, and I would love for you to come. And my heart said yes to that. So we worked it out, and my husband joined me, and we went to New York City, and we saw the most incredible underwater puppet show, people. Yes, an underwater puppet show. It was amazing. It was like, it's hard to explain, but if you ever get to see any of Basil Twist's work, he's a genius. And I'm so glad I went and got to meet him in person and give him a big hug. I also got my first clients like in India and more European clients, and so feeling more of a global shift, getting more clients that are more far-flung. And I kept my children alive. Best for last, right? That's nothing to scoff at. Not just alive, but like thriving, I'm hoping. And it's a lot. The parenting thing, it really takes a lot of focus, a lot of attention, a lot of time, a lot of dedication, devotion, patience, tolerance, and that's just for me. I take it seriously. I know we get one shot at supporting and positively influencing these beautiful souls that come through us but are not of us, and it's a real honor. The mothering thing, I feel it so deeply, and I'm really grateful and appreciative, and my children teach me so much all the time. You know, the joke is that we always think we're their teachers and their guides, but I really believe that our children are here to teach us, and we're getting some really, really old souls coming through the earth plane now in the form of our children who are here to make a difference and here to teach us where we have sidestepped what's really important and how to get back on our journeys and on our paths. And if we stay stuck in the place of, no, you have to do it my way, you know, daughter or son, you have to listen to me, I'm the one who's in charge, I'm the one who knows, then we lose a lot of that. We lose a lot of connection with them, firstly, and we also lose the fact that we're all here to support and teach each other. So I'm really passionate about channeling children's souls for their parents, because I feel like when we make that soul connection, it sort of shifts everything and reconnects us more deeply to our families and each other, recognizing that we are not here on independent solitary journeys, but we're actually here as a collective. And I believe we're here to support the transcending from a lower frequency to a higher, purely loving, unconditionally loving frequency, and that takes some doing. So baby steps, right? One little at a time. And I haven't mastered this parenting thing, but I'm getting really good at apologizing, and I'm getting really good at going inward and recognizing where I could have done things differently and speaking that out to my children. And hopefully inviting them to be the greatest versions of themselves through my offering that as well. So, my loves, that's it. That's all I'm gonna reflect on. I think that's enough. It's been an amazing year. It's been a difficult year, challenging in many ways as well. A lot of feelings of heartache and loss and difficulty, and that's just part of the human earthly experience. But I share with you in the hopes that you too will share, and you too will honor who you are on this beautiful existence as this amazing soul that you are, because we're all here with great purpose. And I love each and every one of you.